Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to another day. We'll get started. Um, so, yes. So if can somebody summarize what we have done so far in the chat? Let's see how many of you remember what we did. Okay, and if you don't remember, that's okay. I'm going to share my screen. Ma'am, can you enable that share? Okay, so I think.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I see loop. Yes, we did for loop, correct. If else loop. Okay, great. Great, great. So people do remember what we did yesterday. So nice to know. Perfect. Okay, that's awesome, guys. Okay, so now we'll continue, of course, from where we left. We did leave at of loop yesterday, isn't it? And we did discuss that we have two types of loops, right? One is your for loop and other is while loop, right? So yeah, so let's quickly begin. Okay, while, isn't it? And while we say is used to perform the repetition or perform loop until a condition is true. Okay, so let's say that you want to read marks of 5 students, right? Now, when I know that there are 5 students, okay, then it's better to use for loop, because you know that you need to run the loop 5 times, right? So that's the best option. But let's say you don't know how many times the user has to run. Okay, so what I'll say is I'll add a variable called continue adding, something like this, and I will say this is true. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll say while continue adding, okay, equal to true. So I'm checking if the value of continue adding is equal to true or not. Okay, and now I say in while input marks. Okay, so I'll say enter the names of students. So I'm going to first read the name. I'm going to say name, input, enter the name of the student. Okay, and then I'm going to say marks 1, int of input, enter the marks in subject 1. Okay, and let's do it for 3 subjects. So I'll take this and I'll say marks 2 here. Okay, I'll put 2 here as well. Okay, marks 3. Okay, enter marks in subject 3. Okay, and you can calculate sum as marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3, right? And AVG as sum by 3, right? And now I'm going to say print. Okay, the total marks obtained is sum, and the average is AVG. Okay, so this is how we'll calculate marks for one student. And now I'm going to ask the user, do you want to continue, right? So I'll say choice equal to, okay, input, enter, or directly I'll ask, please enter Y to continue or any other key to stop. Okay, so enter Y to continue or any other key to stop. Okay, and now what I'll do is if choice is not equal to capital Y or small y, or choice not equal to capital Y. Okay, that means, or okay, so let's see what happens. And if they are not equal, I'll say continue adding equal to false. Okay, let's see. So tell me if users enters small y, then choice is not equal to y, correct? Choice is not equal to y, so this will become true. Okay, and if choice not equal to capital Y, this will become false, isn't it? This is small y, so we're entering in small y, and this is capital Y, so this becomes true and this becomes false. True or false will give us true only, so this becomes true, and continue adding becomes false. So even though you're entering Y, the program will fail, right? Let's run this and see. So enter student name as A, marks as 4, 5, 5. Okay, so this is your marks. Okay, now please Y to continue. If I enter Y, what happened? It stopped. Okay, why did it stop? Because we are saying this, which is correct, not equal to Y, but this is also not correct, right? So what we have to say is we have to say and. That means even if they enter small y or capital Y, it should stop, right? So we have to use and. So the reason I'm trying to form this part is when you run your query, when you run your program, okay, complete program, you execute and see. If it is not performing according to your expectation, go and see why it is not performing. So I expected my program to continue, right? But in fact, it stopped. It stopped because choice not equal to Y is correct, which is coming as false, but choice not equal to this Y, capital Y, okay, is coming as true. So true or false will give us true, and this is true. We are saying continue adding equal to false, so this while will become false, isn't it? And program will not execute. But now if I put and, okay, and let me put a formatting here. So I'm going to say point to F. Now when I run it, okay, student, let's say T, you have 5, 6, 6. Okay, so I'll say Y to continue, right? So it now continues, isn't it? It continues, so I can enter marks for another student F, and I can say 5, 4, 4, okay? And even if you say capital Y, it'll continue, right? Now I entered, okay? So it's working fine, okay? I'll enter any other key to stop, N, and it stopped. So this is how you will write a while program. But there are a few other things which we can actually fix in this program, okay? So far, any question here? This is a simple. This is a simple. Deepak's question is, those patterns are for you to practice, okay? Please try to practice. Okay, guys, any question here? Did you understand the working? Okay, the thing is, if you're talking about a certain topic, focus on that topic. Okay, if you let your mind go here or there, you will miss this topic also. Okay, so please focus, okay, on the while. We're talking about while. Any question here? Okay, no response. Okay, Ankita says yes. Okay, so I understand that there is no question here. That's what you are saying. Okay. Oh, now I'm getting so many answers. Okay, understood. No, no. Why true and false at start? So if I don't give true here, I'm not giving false. If I don't give true, okay, this condition has to be true to go in, right? If I don't make it condition here, this will never get in, right? So you need to make this condition true. That's what we did one small program yesterday, right? Or even if you have no, if you don't remember, that's okay. What we have to do is, in while, your condition has to be true. If it is true, only then you get inside. Okay, otherwise you won't be allowed to go inside. So the reason I'm making this continue adding equal to false is because I want to stop executing the loop. I don't want loop to run anymore. So if I don't want loop to run anymore, I have to convert this value. I have to make this value as false. I have to make this value as false. Only then it becomes false and the loop will stop. Okay. Now let's see. So now you understood, Pooja and Deepak, why we need to put false. Okay. Because I want to stop it when the choice is neither y, neither small y or nor capital Y, any other key, I need to stop. So if I say false, okay, continue adding will become false. And false is not equal to true. So false equal to true will also turn out to be false, and this condition becomes false. And if this condition is false, you can actually stop executing. Okay. Now we are evaluating this as true or false, isn't it? Okay. If we are anyway continue adding as a true, then we don't have to compare with true, isn't it? Because this itself is true, right? So whether the continue adding gives you true or a comparison operator gives you true, it doesn't matter. Okay, what it needs is, what while needs is true value here. So one option is you remove it. Okay, so I'm saying continue adding equal to true, and I said continue adding. So anyway, this is going to be true. And now when I make it as false, this will become false when this entire thing becomes true. So now when I run it, okay, so it will go inside the loop, okay, and it needs the name of the student, marks, okay, and now when I'm done, okay, I'll hit enter and program stopped, right? I hit enter because now choice is neither small y nor capital Y, so you become continue adding become false and the loop stops. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Okay, so coming back to this program again. So, see here you see, here you have input marks in 3 subject. Now, here we know that you need to repeat input marks 3 subject. Then why not very well, use for loop here, right? Even this is an opportunity for us to improve. So what I'll do, okay, inside while I will run a for loop for I in range 3 colon, and I will put marks inside. Okay, and this is going to run 3 times, so no need to do marks 2 and 3. Okay, so let's say I say marks in subject, for example. Now loop will run marks, then you get the first value, then the second value, then the third value. So what happens, this loop is going to run 3 times, and you're reading the value, and every time the marks is getting overwritten. Okay, so to find sum, I need all 3 marks, isn't it? To find sum, I need all 3 marks. And if I don't read the value before it changes, then the value changes and I lose the first mark, right? In the second iteration, I will lose the first previous marks. So I need to perform sum in the loop itself. So what I'll do is I'm going to create before for loop, okay, sum equal to 0. And now I'm saying sum equal to sum plus marks. And I don't need to do this. So what happens? Okay, when while begins, while is beginning for first student, and sum is set to 0. And now when you read the marks, let's say marks is 50, so your sum becomes 0 plus 50. Okay, then goes up in the, because we discussed yesterday that when you have 2 loops, first inner loop will get called multiple times. Inner loop finishes, then the outer loop will get called. So, okay, here we did while, but now we have a for loop inside. So for loop is going to run 3 times. Then it's going to go further down, right? So I'm going to read marks and add to sum. Again, read new marks, add to sum. So sum is actually doing cumulative sum, taking 0 plus this value, then adding one more value, adding third value, and then you are done. So sum after for loop will have all three values, sum of all three values. So that's why we don't have to put average inside. If you put average inside, then every sum will get divided. We don't want to divide every sum. We want to first find all the sum values and then divide by 3, right? So this is how you can do. Let's see. So if I enter the name of the student as T and marks as 5, 5, 5, okay, so you have total of 15, average is 15, right? So it worked, right? Our for loop worked. Okay, and I will stop it for now. Any questions so far? Why there is indentation after loop if? Because this has to be inside, no? Where are you guys? Indentation we did yesterday. Okay, Pooja, we need to give indentation because marks and sum is part of for loop, not part of while loop. So I'm reading marks in for loop using for loop. So I need to give indentation here. Pratibha, please watch carefully. Okay, here it is equal to, and here it was checking the condition equal to, double equal to, not same, they are not same. Here we are assigning, and here we were earlier comparing the value with true, double equal to. So it's not, both are not equal to equal to. Rajit, you practice, please practice, okay? Variables, you can use anything. Who told you not to use any other variable? When you say variable name, it can be anything, right? So no, you don't have to. You can use anything, Rajit. Romita says, please explain again the sum criteria. So see, the problem here is, okay, when you run a loop, that when you are running input value especially, okay, you read the first input value, and then when you read, when the loop repeats, the previous value is lost, right? Previous value is lost, and the new value is saved. And again, if you run one more time, again this value is lost, new value is overwritten on the same old variable, isn't it? So, okay, but to find the sum, we need all three variables, right? All three marks. So what we are doing is we are trying to save the value before it becomes something else. So you save it in somewhere, or you directly use here. That's why I'm saying sum equal to sum plus marks. So sum, initially sum is 0. First time when you run, sum is 0. So it doesn't matter whatever you do 0 plus. But the marks is then saved in sum, and when you go to second iteration, second marks is read, and first marks we lose it. That's okay, we don't care, because we have already saved it into another variable called sum. Makes sense now, everyone? Perfect. Okay, thank you everyone for your confirmation. Okay, so I see that everybody understood now. Okay, so we are reading a while loop. While loop has a condition. This condition has to be true. If condition is true, it will go inside. If condition is not true, it will not go inside. Okay, it will not go inside the loop. Okay, and your loop usually terminates. So you have to first, if you want to run it at least one time, you have to somehow make it true. That's what I'm doing. I'm saying continue adding, and continue adding is true, right? So it will enter, and after taking one value, one set of iteration is done, it is asking you to, and do you want to enter, re-enter? You want to, do you want to re-enter? Okay, or you want to stop it here, right? So okay, so I'm checking based on the input criteria. If the user gives Y as input, I will continue. Okay, but if user doesn't give voice input, the user doesn't want to continue the program stops, right? The condition becomes false. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about, okay, another command. It's a command which is called break. Okay, so break command is a special command. Okay, what it does is it breaks the execution of the loop. So right now what we are doing is we are giving a variable, okay, which is true, and then later changing that variable, okay, later we are changing the variable to false to stop it. Okay, we are changing the variable to false to stop it. Okay, but 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 there is another option called command, command or another option called break, using which you can break the flow of loop. So what break does it throws you out of the loop. Okay, the current loop. Okay, it throws you out of the current loop. Now if I put this in for loop, it will stop for loop. If I put it in while loop, it will stop the while loop. Now how does it work? Let's see. So instead of saying continue adding equal to false, okay, this is where I want to break the loop, isn't it? So I'll delete it and I'll put break here. Oops. I'll put break here, right? Why am I putting break? Because I want to stop the loop, right? So I told you whenever you put break, the loop stops, right? So you can, one option was to turn the value to false, or you directly say break. The moment it's hit break, see when you say false, it goes up and stops. But break will stop it immediately. It will not let you proceed any further. So when I go and run the same program and name the student, I say T, and marks in subject, I say 554. Okay, so you see, it is asking me to enter, and the moment I say something else, it stops. Okay, because break has thrown it out of the loop, and that is anyway the outermost loop. There's nothing else to, calculate or analyze, so it stops there. Okay, everybody clear of break? Okay, awesome. I see some messages. Okay. Okay, thanks for confirmation, everyone. Okay. Okay, so now see, I'm not using continue adding. So why to use this word? Okay, directly you can say while true. So when I say while true, I'm creating an infinite loop. Okay, so while instead of checking while equal to true, I'm directly saying, check if while is check if while is true or not. Okay, so this is kind of infinite loop. Now we don't need a variable. Okay, we are getting rid of one variable now with this concept. So I'm saying while true upfront only. While true means always go into the loop. That's what it's saying, right? Earlier we were writing a variable and checking the value of the variable to see if it is true or not. But in this case, it is always true. If it is always true, then no need to check. I mean, no need to add a variable which will check if it is true or not. Directly put true. But if I don't check for break, if I don't break it, it becomes an infinite loop, because while is always true. So to break from the infinite loop, I don't want it to be an infinite loop. I am checking and breaking the loop using break. Okay, so you see that. See, if there is a situation where you have to check for some condition, okay, in while, then you will put some condition. But here, okay, there's no need to check for any condition. Okay, you can directly keep running, and we just says no, stop it, you stop it. So, okay, so I'm putting as true at the condition for entering into the loop, and in the choice down, okay, where I'm checking if user wants to continue or not, I put break. Moment I put break, your loop will end anyways, right? So this is the another version of the program that we are talking about. Okay, any question here? Did you understand the working of break? So break is a very powerful and one of the important command, okay, which makes, especially, it is used only with loops. Okay, break and continue, the next command that we're going to talk about, they work only with loops. Any question, guys? New programmers, do you understand? I told you now this is level 3, in fact. Okay, we are at level 3 of programming. Okay, so it is getting a little complex, but stay with me. Okay, understand and ask me questions if you don't understand, especially first time programmers. We have to give condition for break. If we don't give condition for break, then break will always execute, right? Then there's no point of running a loop. If I don't put a condition here, okay, then break will be called in the first attempt itself. So you'll perform one operation and then break happens and it breaks. So you can't move ahead, isn't it? So break will always be in a condition. Okay, otherwise you don't put for loop. Okay, if you don't put break in condition, break will break your flow, right? And we don't want flow to be broken until the user says no. So that's why your break will always be in a condition. Break will always be in a condition. Rajit says, yes, sir, got it. Thank you. But the declared variable I we had not used anywhere in the program. Usually we should use the declared variable, right? For my understanding isn't. Rajit, it's not about using or not. Okay. Okay. If you think you need to use it, you use it. If you don't think we need to use it, you don't have to use it. In this case, I don't have to use it. Loop is I is a variable which is doing the counting for me. It is counting 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what's the point of using loop? Variable. Variable in for loop is used automatically to count it. So if you run the program, see we are only getting enter marks in 3 subjects. Okay, the int input marks in enter marks in subject. Okay, it is handled, it is managed here by I only. Okay, so who said that you have to use I? So you don't have to give I. Okay, you have to. Okay, the for loop is managing 3 times, and to manage for loop 3 times, we need a counter to count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right? I told you for will make it make variable take value from the range 1 by 1. So range will generate 0, 1, 2, and I will take 0 in first iteration, 1 in second, and 2 in third iteration. So it takes the 3 values. Okay, so if you want to use it, you don't want to use it, don't use it. I will have the value. I will have value 0, 1, 2. So if you want to use it, you use it. Okay. So I'll show you an example of using it. Okay. Okay. Now here you see it says enter marks in subject, enter marks in subject. Okay, it's save. So I want to print enter marks in subject 1, enter marks in subject 2, enter marks in subject 3. Okay, this is what I want to print. So just like yesterday, we saw that I is taking the value 0, 1, 2, 3. This is what we discussed just now, right? I is taking your value 0, 1, 2. So I can put it here as something like, okay, now you cannot put comma here, okay, because input, we said that input will only take maximum 1 parameter. Input will take either 0 parameters. In that case, we don't put anything inside input. Okay, and second case is where input takes only 1 parameter. So already 1 parameter it takes, and we have already given 1 parameter. So if we have to add something to it, we have to add without disturbing the condition of 1 parameter. So what we do here, okay, we want subject 1 to be entered. So I'm going to say subject 1, subject, and I will do plus. And we discussed that plus, okay, when we were talking about input, we discussed that plus will concatenate the values, isn't it? Plus will concatenate the values. So concatenate values, what I wanted to concatenate with I. So I want to say enter marks in subject. I can put comma because comma will increase the number of parameters. Okay, unlike if your you know the input. Okay, unlike your print. Okay, your input cannot take more than one value. So I need to add the I value to it. Okay, within like one parameter. So you can use plus, and we saw that when you add two strings together, it will concatenate. Now you see the problem here again, you see, is enter marks in subject is string, which is fine. But I which I've given, it is an integer value, right? So if you try to add integer to a complex, it will not work, right? So we have to convert this integer into string. How do we convert this integer into string? We discussed yesterday, str of. If you want to convert anything into string, you have to say str of that variable. So if I say str of I, okay, and let's say I want to put colon at the end, so I will concatenate colon also. I'll say plus. Okay, now when you run it, so it says enter the name of the student. I say Rohit. Enter in marks subject 0, because we said and I starts from 0, 1, 2. So you'll get marks in subject 0, marks in subject 9, and marks in subject 2, right? So, but we want to the subject to display from 1 to 3, not from 0. One of course option is, of course, you say 1, 4, but what you can do here is you can say okay, so input marks in subject, this is your 0, isn't it? This is what is printing 0. So I will say 1 here, because when I is 0, I want to treat it as a first row. When I is 0, I want to treat it as first row. When I equal to 1, I want to treat it as second row. So you can directly say I plus 1. So when I is 0, you become 0 plus 1, 1. And when I is say 1, it becomes I plus 1, 2. And when I is 3, it becomes 3 plus 1. Sorry, 2 plus 1, 3. So now when you run it, your program, enter the name of the student. I say Virat. Marks subject 1, 50, 40, and 50. Let's see again. Okay. So this is how you can use a for loop. Little complex? No, right? We started simple and we kept on building a feature to it. Is it simple? Okay, I'm not getting message. 140 people, not one responding. So Rajit says yes. Jyoti. So Rajit says first time programmer, I got it. Great. Neelu, Aman. No, yes. Great. Thank you everyone for confirmation. Yes, exactly. So quickly we'll see what we did, right? We put the while clause, while command, because when we do for loop, you put for command. When you do while loop, you have to put while. Okay, while followed by condition. And if the condition is true only, it will go in, right? If condition is false, it will not go in. So great. So, either first we put a condition, right? We put a variable equal to true, right? We put a condition. You can put whatever thing that we discussed under comparison operator, right? Anything you can put there. Okay. Then if you do not want it, if you want it to be true by default, now again, those who have not done programming before, don't worry about it. For those who have done programming before, you have something called a do while loop in C++ Java. So this is way to implement do while loop. But if you don't understand do while loop, you don't have to worry about, okay. This is in a way, when we say while true, we are doing exit control. See, earlier when we had condition, okay, some variable equal to true, we were checking the variable, and variable could have been false also, right? So what we are doing is we are controlling the entry into the loop, who should run the loop, okay. But now when I say while true, I'm not even checking any condition. I'm just saying while true. While true means the loop you will get into it anyhow, right? So you are not checking the entry condition, okay? So you're checking the exit condition. So earlier when we did while some variable equal to something, we were checking the entry into the loop. But now when I put while true, I'm not checking the entry condition. We are checking the exit condition, when to stop the loop. Okay, that's a minor difference between the way we implement. Okay, so this is entry control using when you don't use true and you use some variables to say to the check, because variable can have something other than other value, right? So that way we are checking the entry, should loop will run or not. But cases where your program will run at least one time, okay, it is easy to say while true and then check the condition in the body and break the loop. Okay, break the loop when condition is false, when entire thing, okay, becomes true. In this case, you break the loop. Okay, now let's make little more enhancement to it. Okay, enhancement is, okay, what was enhancement? Okay, so enhancement is that, let's say if the marks cannot be more than 100 or less than 0, isn't it? So if marks is greater than 0, okay, or less than 0 and greater than 100, okay, it should, okay, when you marks is less than 0, greater than 100, it should ignore it. Okay, so when you see a marks, and if marks is greater than 0, I mean greater than 100 or less than 0, you should not perform whatever you're doing, right? So this is where I am checking. So before, okay, after reading, what I'll do is I will check the condition, I'll check the value. If the value, okay, is, if the value is invalid, it should go to the beginning of the loop and not perform calculation, not perform sum, right? So I can say here, if marks greater than 100 or marks less than 0, colon, right? We are putting a if clause within the while a loop, that if marks is greater than 100 or marks is less than 0, okay, not greater than 0, sorry, then, okay, it should not perform all the steps. It should go back. So when I say go back, I'll put continue. Okay, so continue is a command. Continue is a command that will take you to the beginning of the train. Oh, sorry, beginning of, not train, here marks we are doing, right? Beginning of the loop. Okay, so continue the command that will take you to the beginning of the loop, right? So if I encounter, okay, invalid number, I will say, okay, if marks, okay, I'll say, I'll print and then I'll continue. Print invalid marks, try again. Now let's run and see what happens. I run, name of the student, I entered something. Okay, enter marks in subject 1. So as I enter -9. So what it says, invalid marks, try again, but it went to subject 2. It went to subject 2. It went to subject 2 because why? Anybody can guess why it went to subject 2? Okay. Continue. Yes, exactly. So Ankita, sum plus marks will not get called. Okay, but continue is getting called. So what I need to do is invalid marks try again. And before I do continue, I will say I equal to I minus 1. Okay. And so what we saw was remove this and interchange the sign. So I equal to I minus 1. Now when I run it, enter the name of the student and I say T, okay, subject 1 minus 7. Okay, try again. And what happened? Though I'm saying I equal to I minus 1, still it went to subject 2 because I is not taking the value like while. Okay, as you said, I is being dictated. I is being dictated by the value in the range. So range will have second value, right, which is 1. Okay, since second has second value as range, okay, it doesn't, okay, it does not include, or it does not, okay, it doesn't matter what you do with here. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, okay, in this case, I'm going to, okay, I'm going to replace this for loop with while loop. Okay, because for loop you can't control, value is coming from range. So even if you want to repeat an existing value, you cannot control. I told you, right, when your program is going to run exactly 5 times, for loop is preferred. Otherwise for loop is not preferred. Correct. So here your program can run more than 3 times if the values, the marks is invalid. Okay, so I'm going to say, from instead of for loop, I will say while. Okay, and here I can say subject counter, right? Subject counter will make it as 0, and when it reads one value, okay, it should it becomes 1. So while subject count is less than equal to 2, so 0, 1, 2, it should continue, right? Now what I'm saying is marks equal to input, okay, subject count. Okay, subject count. Now I'm saying if marks greater than 100 and less than 0, invalid marks, you say invalid, try again. And now I can, okay, I can ignore the subject. I anyway is not there. Okay, I'll say continue. If it is valid, then you will increase the subject count and store the marks in sum. Otherwise, you don't even store. So let's run it again and see. Okay, name is Y. Now, marks in subject 1, I say 10. Marks subject 2, I say minus 10. Okay, invalid marks, try again, enter marks subject 2. See, again, it's saying minus marks subject 2 only, not 3. Minus 10 again, I said. Marks 2 only. Okay, minus 9. Okay, marks 2 again. Okay, so now let me put 10. So I have put 10, 10, and subject 3 also, let me put 10. Okay, so see here, marks obtained is 30. See, only when marks is valid, our sum is running. Otherwise, marks is invalid, we are not doing anything, just giving message and going back to the beginning of the inner loop or the current loop. Okay, so see, this is how you have come up with the solution here. Okay, did you understand? Second, I see a lot of messages. Yes, so CTR increases because I have to manually increase it. Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm getting all yes. Anybody know? Awesome. Okay, so this, okay, it took almost like 15 minutes, 40 minutes for us to do one program, but it's worth, isn't it? And this is how you actually build a program also. You start from one line, you keep adding, you see the output, okay, you modify the output again based on your business requirement, you keep on adding to it. Finally, after some time, your program is ready. Okay, now I will do one more program. Okay, I will do one more program here. Okay, something similar. Okay, we are learning to build our program. Okay, so let me move it to different file. Okay, so now I come back to our P2 and let's build one program. So I'm going to build one program. Okay, now see that. Okay, see how I'm building it. Okay, look at the logic also. So I'm going to write a program to guess the number. Okay, I'm going to write a program to guess the number. Okay, so if the number is 50, okay, number is 50, I need to guess the number now. So I'm going to say guess equal to int of input. Enter the number. Okay, or guess the number. Okay, I'll just say guess the number. Okay, so I have say, okay, I have said number equal to 50 and I want to see if you can guess 50 or not. Okay, we'll just start building it. Okay, so in this case, if your guess is equal to num, okay, I'll say print congratulations, you have guessed it right. Correct? Else I will say you have not guessed it. Sorry, you have not guessed it correctly. Right? Now let me run this program. Okay, guess the number. Let's say I put 49. Sorry, you have not guessed it correctly. Okay, so this is working. Now let's add one more layer to it. That means you keep on running the program. Program should keep on running. Okay, programs should keep on running till you guess it. Okay, so what I'll do is, okay, so again, yeah, so what I'll do is this number has to be outside. This is one-time number, but guessing has to be done every time, right? Every time you have to guess it. So I'll put a while loop here, while true, because I don't know how many times, how many turn you will take to guess the number, right? You can take 1, 10, 100 times. So we don't know how many times. So that's why best option is while, and while true because we want to guess it at least once. Okay. So, okay. So while true, and I'm going to say when you are done it correctly, you put break. Otherwise, don't put break. So now when you run it, it's asked me to guess the number. I say 60. It says, sorry, you have not guessed it. Guess the number again. So now I say 40. Okay, sorry, you have not guessed it correctly. Guess it again. So when I say 50, our program stops, right? So what we did, we added break when there is a match. So when there's a match, whatever you want to perform logic, you perform the logic, and then you say break. The program breaks. Okay. Now let's make it even a little more interesting. Okay, when it is else, okay, when it is not a match, I want the computer to give me a hint whether the number that you are searching is lower or higher. Okay, the number that you are searching is lower or higher. Okay, so if it is equal to, perfect. Okay, there's nothing we need to do here. But now we have to add two more conditions, right? One is for if the number is less than, and then what if happens when number is greater than. So I'll say elif. Okay, elif guess is less than num. If guess is less, then you have to say, okay, the actual number is higher. Okay, so actual number is 50. So 50 is higher, guess is lower. So you have to guess a higher value. That's what it means. Actual number is higher, not highest. is higher. That's what I meant to, we are interested to know. And then else. Else means default third condition is that guess is greater, isn't it? So I will say print the actual number is lower. Okay. Now when you run it, guess the number. I say 60. It says actual number is lower, right? 50 is lower. I say 55. Okay. Actual number is lower. I will say 40. Actual number is higher. 40. Actual number is higher. I say 50. And then it stopped. Okay. Right? Now let's add one more feature to it. I want to count how many times you took to guess the number. How many times you took chance, right? So what I'll do before I get into the loop, I will say count equal to 0, right? And every time you are guessing, you are actually using a, you are making an attempt, right? So every time you guess, it's like 1 count, 2 count, 3 count, so on. Okay, and now when you guess it right, I will say, yeah, congratulations, you have guessed it right in count steps. Okay, now when you run it, enter the number 55. Actual number is lower. Guess the number 45. Okay, is higher 50. So see, you guess it right in 3 steps, right? We take 3 steps, right? First we said 44, then 55, then 44, and then 50. So we took 3 steps to get it. Okay, any questions so far? Is it clear? You can develop this game more, and we'll develop few more features to it. I'm seeing some messages here. Sir, we want to give just 3 chances. You can count, no, you can count max try. Max try equal to 3. Okay. Now, before you are done, right, I can check one more condition. Okay. If count, okay, equal to max try. Okay, that means count is same as max try. And you are, okay, you are here, that means you have gone through all these conditions. So if count equal to max try, or count is, we just say greater than, okay, because if it is less than equal to, we don't want to do it. But if it is greater than equal to, that's when we will have to try. So I'm going to say max try if count is greater than or equal to max try. Basically, it is equal to, okay, just we said greater than, but it is equal to. Then I'm saying print, you have reached the maximum try. Please stop. Please stop. Now when you run it, I say 99, 88, okay, 77. Okay, the actual number is lower. You have reached the maximum try. Please stop. Right? And after stopping, okay, what we'll do is we will say break, so that guess number doesn't come again. You say break. You break from the loop. Right? So even if it reaches max try also, you can break. Right? So enter the number 1, enter the number 4, 5. When I enter, actual number is higher. You have reached the maximum tries. Maximum tries. And please stop. Okay. So definitely when I run it, now if I enter number 1, highest number, again I say 2, higher I say 3. Okay. So it says you have reached the maximum tries. Please stop. Right. So this is how I can restrict the maximum number of try. Okay. For now, what I'll do is I'll put big number. Okay. 10, let's say, because you can run it up to 10 and we need to find within 10. So you're trying to guess the number, isn't it? Now let's say, guess the number between 1 and 100 only. So if the guess, okay, if the guess is less than 100 or greater than 100, it should do continue. Do not do anything else. Just go back to the first step. You don't even have to count the value. Count should also not change. So what I'll do here, I will say if, okay, if guess is less than 0, okay, or, okay, or that means even if one condition is true, it should go up, or guess is greater than 100, we say print invalid option, try again. Okay, now let's see. Enter the number, I say minus 100. Okay, enter the number 900. Enter the number, say 100. Now let's say 980. Okay, let's say 70. Okay, what happened? I said guess less than 100, isn't it? Hey, you should catch the mistake, right? When you see it, right? I'm running it, even then you are not seeing, right? Yes. So now when I run it again, so if I say 300, invalid option, try again. Minus 100, invalid option, try again. If I say 40, actual number is higher. If I say 60, actual number is lower. Now if I say 50, so say you have guessed it right in 5 steps. Okay, why? Because here I did not give continue. Because once you get it wrong, then we don't have to check all these things, right? There's no point of checking. You have to go back to the beginning. So you got 5 steps, isn't it? Now when I run it, okay, I say 200 minus 9, okay, 70, 40, 50. You see, it says you have guessed it in 4 steps. Why? 9, 70, 40, 50. 200 is not taken into account. 200 is not being taken into account, isn't it? Any question here so far? So our game is ready, isn't it? Now let's make it even more interesting. Okay, we have a module. See, we've been talking about so far about functions, right? We've been talking about functions so far, inbuilt functions like print, input. These are inbuilt function, correct? So similar to inbuilt function, we have inbuilt module. So what is inbuilt module? Inbuilt module is nothing but collection of functions. So you have inbuilt module called as random, which has collection of functions. So if I say here, import random. Okay, so import random, right? That means random.py is a file. Okay, random.py is a file which has lot of functions, and I'm going to use the functions which is not publicly available but available within random.py file. So I'm going to say import random, okay, and this random has a has a file or okay, let me save it first, okay, and then I'll do it so that you have this copy as well as the new copy. Okay, okay, now I just said okay, so I'll say import random. Import random has a function called as, okay, this 50, I will make it random. So I'm going to say random dot rand int. So there's a function called as rand int, okay, in random file, which will generate the random value between the number that we give. So if I say 1 comma 100, it will generate values between 1 and 100. So now you don't know what value it is. Okay, it makes the game even more interesting. Now I don't know, it's definitely not 50. Okay, every time you run it, it'll take a random number between 1 and 100. Okay, now let me run it. Guess the number. Okay, tell me what number you want to guess. Let's see minimum how many chances we take to guess the value. Give me choice option. How many? Okay, so 22. Okay, I got first 22 for Ankita. I'll say 22. Actual number is higher. Actual number is higher. 55. Okay, so actual number is lower. Okay, that means the value is between 22 and 55. 47. Okay, we'll try. Roshan says 47. Okay, actual value is even lower. That means it is between 22 and 47. Ankita says 40. Let's try. Okay, it is even lower than 40 also. 32. Actual number is higher. So it is between 32 and 40. 35. Okay, lower. That means it is between 32 and 35. So let's try 33. Okay, higher. So it is 34. So it took us 8 steps to guess it correctly. Okay. 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 So this is how you can develop this game. Now this is computer versus human, right? Computer is thinking a number, and as a human, we are guessing the number. Let's change it to computer versus computer. Okay. Let's change it to computer versus computer. Okay. What does that mean? It means that even the guessing, right? Guessing also we want computer to guess. So instead of guess equal to int, okay, instead of guess equal to int, I will say guess equal to random dot rand int 1 comma 100. Okay. Now you see the problem with this is every time the guess would, it would randomly guess between 1 and 100. So even if value is more than 22, right, in previous case, the program will, okay, will even guess less than 22 because we are randomly guessing between 1 and 22, right? So let's run this and see what happens. So see, it did max try is 10. So it could not find the answer even in 10 tries. We'll make max try is 100. So see, it took 75 steps to guess. Okay, took 75 steps to guess. So this is not the right way to do. Right way is if the number is less than 22, let's say, then we should not guess more than 22, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 more variable called init. Okay, that means and max or mean and max. Let's call it as mean and max. So mean is 1 and max is 100, right? So initially, of course, you have to try mean and max, right? Right? So last time it took 75 steps, right? Let's write and see again how many steps it takes. 28, 75, 28, 52, right? It takes 12, okay? Now what we'll do is we will be more intelligent in guessing. So mean is 1 and max is 100, right? Now we will try to change the mean. Now see here, when you come here, guess is less than number. Guess is less than number. That means if the number is 50, okay, I'll take an example here. Okay, assume the number to guess is 50, but you're guessing only 22. Okay, so your number is lower, isn't it? So next time onward, your mean should be not less than 22. Your mean should be, okay, what? 22 plus 23. Next time you should not guess 22, right? So if guess is lower than the mean, then I'm saying mean equal to, okay, guess plus 1. Did you get what I'm saying here? So if you are guessing 20, if number is 50, that means you're guessing a lower value. Next time, I should not guess value less than 21. I can guess 21, but I should not guess less than 21 because we know that 20 is a smaller than that. So there's no point of guessing 15, 5, 10, even 20 also. Okay. So I'm going to say, okay, guess plus 1. Similarly, when you go to the greater value, okay, let's say value is 50, you're getting 70. So the max should now be guess minus 1, isn't it? Okay, and now let's try to run it. See, within 8 steps, we are getting the answer. Now, it doesn't take 75 steps or 18 steps, 5 steps. Okay, 6 steps. It will definitely be faster than the previous step because now you are using your judgment. You are using, you're doing a better judgment of finding the values. Okay. Was it interesting or not? I know it is little more, in higher in terms of complexity than yesterday's, but now we have to go ahead, right? We have to increase our complexity, right? So, as I said, right, even if you're a first timer, as I said, just practice, okay? Try to run the program and see where you are not getting the expected output, why it is going wrong, okay? And then you come back and fix it. And you should be able to develop apps like this. So, we have actually learned how to develop an app. This is a game, right? This is a real game which you can actually play, right? So this is how you build your program step by step, step by step. Okay. So with that, we finish loop. In a way, we have covered a significant portion in Python. Okay. You have with if, else, and while, significant portion is completed. That means not the basic of programming. Any logic that we can think of can be built using for loop and if else. So from now on, what we're going to do is we're going to learn more, okay, features of Python and how to implement them. But at the core, at the heart, it is just if else and for loop. Okay, so this is a important milestone for us. So congratulations, okay, to all of you for completing this, and please do practice, and you will be able to do it better. Okay. So yes, I said, Ankita and others, there are many people who have asked me about the assignment solution. No, we are not going to do it. You have to do it, and we will tell you when to submit. I will take your code and we will try. Okay, I gave you 1 week time. Didn't I say that take a week to try? So again, why are you asking me the code? You should also try from your side. So please try, making different alphabets. Okay, using star. Okay, we'll tell you, Aman. Okay, we'll tell you. We'll let you know. You have 1 week time to do it. Please try. Okay, and then we'll let you know how to do it. Okay, some of you are new, some of you are maybe working, so you may not find time to do that. You have a weekend to do it, and we'll let you know when to submit, how to submit. Okay, perfect. So we can take questions, ma'am, now. If they have questions, we are done
yes.
for today.
Yes, sure. If anybody is interested, can raise hand and we can allow them to ask questions. So we have Sonu who wants to ask some question. Go ahead, Sonu. I think, is he there? He had raised his hand for a question. Okay, I don't see anybody raising hands for their questions. So I think the concept is pretty clear by this time. So. Then, sir, we are good to close today's session, I believe.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.